Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. In writing a college or graduate school application essay or a job application, there's such temptation to write whatever will work, that is, whatever will get you into a more selective college than otherwise would admit you. So, too many students tell what the college essay readers want to hear, a tearjerker about the adversity they've overcome, or the joys of their having helped have nots, or both. Having struggled to overcome adversity, I'm honored to pay it back by helping the less fortunate. And applicants too often concoct their pitch with the aggressive help of a parent, friend, or a hired gun college or career, quote, counselor. Thus, admissions essay or job application readers too often are evaluating someone other than the applicant. That's sad not only because of the injustice to honest applicants, but because of the lessons it teaches the deceptive applicants. As the Oakland Raiders slogan went, just win, baby, whatever it takes. Also, when parents condone, let alone encourage such dishonesty, they convey to their child that he or she is inadequate to succeed honorably. All this is ironic for at least four reasons. If the application essay or job application ploy works, or let's just stay on education, that application essay works, you may get a worse education. The more selective the university, the more research rather than teaching centric it's likely to be. That usually translates to less learning and especially less practical learning. Another reason for the irony of using the application essay ploy is that you incur increased risk of having gotten in over your head if you get in, suffering not only less learning, but lower grades, which can hurt your job prospects, lower self esteem, increased sadness and risk of substance abuse, and increased risk of dropping out. The third reason for the irony of trying to make the application essay make you look better than you are is increased risk of rejection, ironically. If the college interviews you and sees a disparity between the level of thinking and writing in the interview versus that in the essay, your chances of admission could decline indeed. And a final irony of trying to use the application essay manipulatively to get in is that a dishonest application essay squanders the opportunity for it to provide a growth experience. And this little talk is going to attempt to show how you can make it one. Even though their wording varies, most college and graduate school admission essay questions reduce to just one. What's important about you that couldn't be discerned from the rest of your application? It's wise to focus on just one of your attributes because that creates a more distinct brand. And do think twice before picking a commonly held or commonly touted attribute, such as the aforementioned in the examples. You've overcome adversity as evidenced by your having continued to get good grades despite having mononucleosis. Or you love diversity as evidenced by your trip to Costa Rica. Or you're hardworking as evidenced by your getting up at 4 in the morning to row crew. Not only is that attribute common, especially in applying to design or label colleges, the crew ploy or the tuba ploy is often interpreted as willingness to prostitute yourself to get in. Instead, inventory your strengths to identify, if possible, a less common core attribute of yours. Why? Colleges like a diverse student body, not just in race and ethnicity, but in attributes. Also, you're describing a less standard attribute provides a fresher reading experience for the reader, thereby positively predisposing him or her to you. Here are some examples of less standard attributes that are appropriate for an application essay, a college application essay. Unusual thoroughness. Rather than the common tendency to dabble, you do deep dives, whether as a young child when you read 6 books about dinosaurs, or later by becoming obsessed with seeing how high you can make a homemade rocket fly. Another such attribute that's a little more under the radar is an entrepreneurial mindset. You could point to one or more examples of a problem you observed that you attempted, even if unsuccessfully, to solve. Whether it's an after-school healthy snack cart outside the school building, the way you made student government more efficient, or tried to address a problem faced by low-income students. And a final example of an under-the-radar, less common attribute you might want to focus on, and these are merely examples. I want you to look inward to yourself to find the attributes that really are core to who you are. But the third example I want to offer is willingness to take an unpopular stand in the face of ad hominem criticism. For example, supporting a moderate rather than an au courant radical political candidate. Or that in class, after students urged legalizing recreational marijuana, you pointed out the underreported dangers. Note that attribute, in addition to being less standard, would benefit the college, which is important in their deciding whom to admit. You're likely to be brave enough to, in class, raise questions about the orthodoxy. That would lead to richer classroom discussions. So, what is a core attribute of yours? Ideally, a not standard one. Once you've selected the attribute you want to describe in your essay, is there one or maybe two or even three anecdotes that prove you have the attribute? Anyone can claim an attribute, but it's far more convincing if you tell in detail an anecdote that demonstrates you have it. No matter how brilliant you are, the wise person recognizes how much he or she doesn't yet know. So it helps, after touting your attribute, to acknowledge that you realize how much you still have to learn, which is one reason you're eager to attend college or graduate school. State why that particular school or program. For example, I've carefully reviewed many colleges and I'm applying to Duke's program in biomedical engineering because of its focus on X, as well as because, more broadly, Duke is distinctive in A and B. I'm particularly intrigued by Professor A's work on Y. We've spoken, the professor and I'm excited that he said I might be able to be an assistant on one of his research projects. So, whether for undergraduate or graduate education, or in applying for a job, the application essay or the job cover letter is a high-stakes opportunity to be both efficacious and ethical. Plus, it can motivate you to inventory yourself, to identify and demonstrate your key strengths. I hope this little talk helps in your making the most of the application essay and your job applications. In any case, I'm Marty Nemko. I thank you for watching. I would welcome your thumbs up, or if necessary, your thumbs down. You're sharing on social media, there's a button down there for that. You're subscribing. And in any event, I certainly do appreciate your watching. I am Marty Nemko.